Good morning! And happy Monday!
We realize that we tell you guys a lot about everyday life, and you've been journeying with us in our daily vlogs day after day, but there's a lot that happened before the Frey Life was the Frey Life.
So we wanted to try to come up with 3 stories each, or 3 events that happened that we've never told you guys about.
So here's 3 random facts about us.
Don't you think we're better together? Oh, I think we are.
First is that I have a hole in my chest.
Seriously.
Well, I have pectus excavatum. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a dip in my chest where, I don't know, it's just like a genetic structure of your chest. I think a good number of people have it.
Yeah.
But in fact, one time I was on a youth group trip in high school and
I wasn't there for this. I heard about it.
I was showing off, so I laid on the table and I ate cereal out of my chest.
That is talent.
That's talent, you know?
I have a birthmark, and it's on the bottom of my baby left toe. See that dirty spot? That's not dirt.
Let's focus on that. Oh,
That's my
yeah.
birthmark.
Look at that.
I thought, what's something I've never told the Frey Life? My toe!
I guess I could tell the jobs that I've had.
Yes.
Because, maybe you know I'm a pastor now, but I've been through all kinds of jobs. Well, in high school and going into college years, in the summers, I worked for a summer camp and I was a counselor, and then I became like a counselor of the counselors. And then when I went to college, I started working catering for like a catering company that did different events all over Chicago. We did like real like fancy like, I don't know,
Tell
like,
us some of the fancy things.
ritzy events. Well, I went to Paul Newman. You know the guy on the salad dressing?
We probably have it in our
like
fridge.
Newman's own salad dressing. I went to his house for his Christmas party.
That's cool.
And oh, this is so embarrassing.
Oh no.
Well, we're having this buffet. I mean, this house was like, we're like walking around like an indoor swimming pool to go out to the like banquet hall. It was just crazy. But there was we were putting, I think it was a turkey out, and it started sliding, and I used I had gloves on, but I like used my hand. I tried to make sure nobody saw me. Yeah.
Ooh, catering stories.
Catering stories.
So then you did it through college.
Yeah, I did it through college, and then when I moved out to Boston area to go to grad school, I needed a job, and actually I got a job at the restaurant in the Nordstrom. It was, what is it called? There's different ones in different Nordstroms, but this one is the Bistro, and the food is really good, but I worked there for like 3 months.
I feel like it was longer than that.
Maybe it was 4 or 5 months.
You had to wear a chef's coat, like a white button-up.
Yeah, that's right, and like a apron. But I did not enjoy working there, and so
it's all about the people you work with, right?
Yeah, I think that's true, and it's, I don't know, it's just a weird environment. But I missed catering, so I found a catering company that did weddings, and all throughout grad school, pretty much every Friday, Saturday, some Sunday nights, I would be catering, serving food at weddings, and
fixing people's shoes.
Shoes?
Wasn't there a guy whose shoe fell apart and you fixed it
Oh
for
yeah,
him?
I super glued it together. Yeah, I was kind of a jack of all trades at the wedding.
Yeah, so he did catering for 8 years.
Yeah, and a few random jobs here and there. Like, I found this guy on Craigslist who had his own company who he made like radio frequency identification tags for construction materials. You know, like an Easy Pass in a car?
Yeah.
Like, it was that technology, but for like a truckload of construction materials, so you could just scan whatever inventory's in the truck. Anyways, but my job was to take these little plastic tags in this like ultrasonic welder and put the tags together. And but the cool part was, it was when we first got married, and part of the process was I would take basically a address label, which had the like tag information on it
Yeah.
and put it on each plastic piece. So I'd bring those home and Mary and I would work on them together.
Like we'd sit there in the living room and just have this huge bag of these clear plastic tags and stickers, boop, 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 boop. It was fun.
Yeah.
We've always enjoyed working together.
Yeah, that's true.
So my jobs,
Okay, this is Mary's random fact.
okay, my jobs during high school were I worked at an Italian ice place. I worked at a school supply and toy store, and I babysat a lot. And then I also worked at Chick-fil-A right before I went to college, and
But you have to tell why you got that job.
so I applied for Chick-fil-A and I got the job, and I was so happy because I loved Chick-fil-A so much, and I was like so addicted to eating at Chick-fil-A. Like I really enjoyed it, and I always thought about it, and Sunday was the worst day because they aren't open, and like I loved Chick-fil-A. So I thought, oh, if I work there, I'll get sick of the food and the smell and I won't want to eat it.
Womp womp.
That did not work. I still love Chick-fil-A, and I'm glad I do because I really just love it. But I didn't work there for very long. It was right before I went to college, but it was still a fun experience. And I learned to appreciate, well, I didn't love the uniform, I'll say that. So I learned to appreciate comfortable clothes. Maybe that's when I got
Yeah.
into comfortable
All
clothing.
about the comfy clothes.
And then, let's see.
Any other jobs?
Um,
Well, when we first got married, Mary had several families that she nannied for.
Yeah, all over. I drove a ton. We were just talking about this the other day. Like, I drove 45 minutes to each way to my jobs, and yeah, I don't know.
Oh, well,
So-
that leads to my final random fact about me is that I am a terrible driver.
No, he's not. That is not fair.
Okay, well, the fact about me is that I have totaled 4 cars, well, 3 and 95% of a car. So
But they weren't all your fault.
actually only one was my fault. Basically, I was not destined to drive. I'm just waiting for the day that like, well, maybe self-driving cars will be here before we
Yes.
know it, like more accessible. But I don't think it's my destiny. But
But Peter, you're good now.
okay, well, I am a well-experienced driver
Yes, he
and
is.
crasher.
And it's taught you, like,
I think I'm a much better driver now because I was in so many accidents.
Yeah.
But they like some of them weren't my fault. Like 3 days after I got my first car, I'm driving through town.
was this the purple car?
Yes, it was a little purple Chevy Cavalier. I'm like driving home, and this guy runs a red light in like flying, and it's a big truck, and I hit him, like T-bone him.
Because
His
he
truck
ran a red
flips, and my car's totaled, and I'm traumatized because I've had that car for 3 days.
And that intersection in our hometown has always been like kind of scary to Peter ever since then.
Yeah, that's true. And then
Resume.
so that's my random fact. Is my history of driving that the car, this was kind of unfortunate. The car that was like 95% totaled was, I was driving my mom's car, and I was like, I'll pick it up from the shop for you. They had just had to get the I don't know if the radiator or transmission or something was being repaired, and we just paid for that, and I'm on my way home. And it was one of those situations where there was a red light, and it was so far ahead because there were so many cars, I didn't realize that all the cars were stopping, and so I didn't stop until I crashed.
Yikes.
And it was like $50 away from totaling it, which would have been nice to like just have totaled it, but nah.
Meaning like it would have just, it just would have made more sense if it was just, okay, it's done.
Yeah. Well, that car was a lot of trouble, that's why.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's your...
Well, his experience with being an experienced driver and crasher actually benefited me because in our first 6 months of marriage, might have been
Probably...
8 months
Yeah.
in, we were living in the other side of this really busy town, and to go anywhere you had to go through this really busy touristy town. And so we were driving. For some reason we had to drive separate to CF clinic.
I'm guessing I was gonna go to school after CF clinic, so we were gonna park my car near the interstate and ride together into the city, and then on the way home she'd drop me off. And anyways,
So we were driving separate to Cystic Fibrosis clinic, and basically in the busy part, like that town that I just talked about, somebody had walked out into the street, and 3 cars ahead of me, they stopped really suddenly, and this car didn't know that they stopped really suddenly, and then I didn't know that that car stopped really suddenly. Boom, boom, boom. And it was the first like collision that I had ever been in, and I was pretty shaken up. Nobody was hurt, and nobody was hurt in any of yours, right?
no, not really.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So nobody was hurt, but the lady got out and was like screaming at me. She was like, I have a sick horse, I don't have time for this. And I'm just like little old 21-year-old Mary, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like and I wasn't like looking at my phone or anything like that. It literally just happened. And but it was good because Peter was like right behind me, or like a couple minutes.
I was a couple cars behind, and so I didn't see it happen, but she called me and I was like, I'll be there in 1 minute.
Yeah.
And I was able to talk to everybody, we got insurance information, and we parked the car, your van, at like a nearby gas station, but it was so old that it got totaled.
So it was an old minivan that I drove during high school, and during high school I was like, you know, I was like a teenager and I was like, oh, I'm driving a van, this is not cool. But then I grew up and got married, and I was babysitting, and my van had built-in car seats, which I thought was like awesome. So I was so sad that my van got totaled, but it all worked out in the end.
We liked having a minivan.
Yeah.
Maybe we will again one day.
Maybe. I don't think they
who
make
knows?
built-in car seats anymore though.
Yeah, probably not safe.
Yeah.
Well, there's some random facts about us that maybe you did or didn't know.
Yeah.
Leave us a random fact in the
Yes.
comments, because, you know, what don't we know about you?
Maybe a birthmark, or if you want to share a scary crash story, or whatever you feel like sharing. And
We make new vlogs every day, so as always,
we will see you tomorrow. Good night. Cool.
And it wouldn't be complete without saying goodnight to the Ollie boy. Good night to the people. We'll see you tomorrow.